Hello and welcome again to the Comp 1000 instructional videos. This is video number 27B, and it is the second half of the task that you will be doing for your Excel Unit B project. In this video we are going to revisit what we ended up doing in in video 27A. We're going to talk just a little bit about what was that we did when we did the absolute value or the absolute reference. Then we're going to edit some text. We're going to average a range of cells. A range is more than one cell, so we're going to average a range. We're going to display the largest or the maximum number in a range, and then we're going to delete some cells, an individual cell and a range of cells. So let's get started. We are right back almost where we left off. I erased the last step because I wanted to revisit what we talked about when we did absolute value. Step 5 of your Excel Unit B project says in cell F14, determine the weighted response value by entering a formula that multiplies the value in cell F5 by the value in cell F4. So basically what I did was, this was the last thing we did in video 27A, I clicked in F14 and I put in a formula, cell F5 multiplied by cell F4. Remember, I said all formulas start with equals, so I clicked on the equal sign and I typed in F5. But I wanted to also show you in this second video that you don't have to type in the actual address. I can go up here and click on F5, and look what it did. It put it right down here. It put F5, and we multiply by the asterisk, which is hold down the shift key and hit the number 8. So F5 multiplied by, and remember last time I typed in F4, well I'm going to do the same thing I did a second ago. I'm going to actually click on F4 and see it fills in F4 for me. So that was something else I wanted to show you. And we hit enter. But then we read the next sentence of our step 5 of our Excel Unit B project, and it says, use a relative reference to cell F5 and an absolute reference to cell F4. Okay. And I told you that whenever, so let's go back and click on F14 where our formula is, and I said whenever you hear an instruction that says an absolute, I'll just pick something, an absolute R27, and I'm just picking an address, a cell address. If I got an instruction that said an absolute R27, I'm going to go back and put a $ before the R and a $ before the 27. So it's a $ letter, $ number. So in this case, our instruction said an absolute F4. So I click just to the left of the F and I put in a $, which is on my keyboard is Shift and the number 4. And then I click right before the number 4 or directly before the number 4 and I put in another $. So it's $ letter, $ number. F4 was what they said do an absolute. And then I'm just going to hit enter. But I wanted to show you in this video, what did we just do? What we did was we said multiply F5 times F4. But I made F4 an absolute, which means unchanging. Absolute, by definition, means something that does not change. So what we're going to do in the future is, in the next part of step 5 is, we're going to use autofill, and this is going to help explain what we did with absolute. It said use autofill using F14, use autofill to fill in F15, 16, 17, 18. And remember, autofill is this little green corner to our selected cell. So I clicked on F14. I snuck up on this little box. When it changes to the plus sign, I click and hold, and I drag down to F18, and I released. But what I wanted you to see was, let's go back to F14. Remember, we typed in this. But let's now click on F15. And see what it did was, whereas F14 multiplied F5 times F4, F15 multiplies F6 times F4. So we copied that formula, but it's not going to change this second part because it's got $ around it. Let's go back to and click on F16. See, that changes to F7 times F4. The first part of our formula changes, but the second part doesn't. We click here, F8 times $F, $4. F9 times dot. So you see, that's what made it stay the same. Okay, that's what an absolute does. Okay, so moving on. That completes step 5 of our Excel B project. Now let's look at what we have to do next. The next thing that we have to do is it says use autofill to fill the range C19 through G19. Here's the important part, using the formula in B19. So I click on B19 because that's what it said. It said using. So remember I told you whenever it says using a certain address, you go ahead and click on it. That's where we're going to grab the corner since it's autofill, and it said drag all the way out to G19, and I release. Yeah, and we just used autofill, which was step 6 of your Excel B project. Then it says in cell H18, enter a formula that divides the value of G18 by G9. Okay, so H18, remember when it says enter a formula, you have to start with the equal sign. So it's equals H18, so I'm sorry, in H18, it's equals G18 divided by G9. So I'm going to do G18, see, and it put my G18 right there. Divided by is the little forward slash, and what were we dividing by? G9. So I'm going to find G9, there it is, and I'm going to click on it and see it put it in my formula. So let's do that all again, one more time. Okay. What did it say? It said in H18, so I clicked in H18. Put a formula in that divides this G18 by this G9. So I'm in H18. I put in the equal sign. I click on G18. See, it put it in my formula. I hit the divide symbol, and then I click on G9. I'm ready to go. So I just hit enter, and it completes step 7 of our Excel B project. Step 8 says edit the text in cell A21. Okay, there's A21, edit the text. We did that in our first video for Excel, which was, Excel B, which was video 27A. We did that. We edited some text. Well, let's do it again. It says edit the text in A21 so that it reads average of all departments. So I just click on A21. I like to go up here in the formula bar. This long bar right above the letters is the formula bar. And I'm just going to get rid of all that and type it in. Average of all departments. And let me point out to you that you need to pay close attention to your capitalization. If your instructions in Excel have a capital A here but no other capitals, that's what you need to do. I've seen students capitalize the A of all and the D of departments, and it counts it all wrong, like you never did do any of it. So let's pay close attention to how it has it listed in our instructions. And that completes step 8 of our Excel B project. Step 9 says in cell D21, so let's go ahead and click on D21. There it is. Enter a formula that uses the average function to identify the average of the values in the range H14 to H18. So what it's saying is in here, we want to average these numbers, these 5 numbers. Well, there's a function. Whenever you see where it says function, that means there's already a key up here somewhere in the ribbon that'll do this for you. So it says in D21, so we click there. The average is right up here in AutoSum. Except don't click AutoSum, you click the little more button, and there it is, average. And we click on it. And it's asking you, is this what you want to average? And the answer is no, we don't want to average that. What do we want to average? We want to average these 5 numbers. So I left click and hold, I drag down, I release, and look, it says average H14 through H18. That's what our instructions say. So I simply hit the enter key. And we've completed step number 9 of our Excel B project. Step 10 says in cell A22, so I go to A22, update the text, which means edit the text to highest weighted value. So again, I click here. I don't need to change everything here. I just need to add the word highest. So I'm going to click to the left of the word weighted, and I'm going to type in highest. Again, let's watch our capitalization. It needs to match what the instruction says. Highest weighted average, does that look like what it says? Yeah. So I just hit enter. And we've edited more text. And that's step 10 of our Excel Unit B project. Step 11 says in cell D22, enter a formula that uses the max, there's that word again, function, which means there's a key up here, there's an icon, something up here in the ribbon that will allow me to do this. Let's start again. Step 11, in cell D22, enter a formula that uses the max function to identify the highest. Max means most or highest. To identify the highest value in the range H14 to H18. Okay, so it says in D22, so I'll go ahead and click there. And the max function is right up here again, where we did the sum and where we did the average. So I click the more button, and there it is. I click on max. Is this what I want to max? That's what, remember, the blinking lines is the computer, the Excel software asking you a question. It's saying, hey, Mr. or Miss Student, is this what you want to show the max? Well, obviously not, because it's only one number. Our instructions say H14 to H18. So I click again, just like I did when I did the average. I left click and hold on H14. I drag down to H18 and I release. Look, it says, in this box, put the max of H14 to H18. That's what I want to do. So I hit enter. And in doing so, we've just completed step 11 of our Excel B project. And the last thing it asks us to do in the Excel B project is to delete the cells in the range A23 through D23, shifting the remaining cells up. Okay, so that tells me I want to click on A23. In other words, let me do this again. I left click and hold on A23, and I drag over to D23, and I release. Okay, then I move my pointer back in the middle of this, and I right click. I use my right mouse button, and right up there is the word delete. So I left click on delete, and it says what? Shift cells left, shift cells up, entire row or entire column. Well, our instructions said shifting the remaining cells up, so we want to do it just like that. We leave that button there, selected, okay, and we click on OK. And notice how it shifted everything up. And in doing so, not only have we completed step 12 of our Excel B project, but we've completed the entire Excel B project. Thank you for your time.